Hi everybody, my name is Jerry and this is the first Photo Africa weekly chat. You might ask yourself, what now, how now, what's this about? If you've been following the blog for a while, you'll know I write about tips, techniques, all about wildlife, African wildlife. So, a couple of books, a couple of social media, lots of questions, Facebook, Twitter, all of these things, decided maybe we'll take it to a next step and take it to a video blog. Weekly initially, we'll see how it goes. It's difficult. If you look out on the web, what's happening, there's a lot of text. You look at my site, you look at a lot of photography blogs out there. I mean, just typing into Google wildlife photography, get 1 million hits. Some of them absolutely fantastic, but let's be honest, there's some real rubbish out there as well. So the idea with this blog is I'm going to take you on a ride, my ride, hopefully, and along the way, hopefully teach you something. Maybe inspire a little bit, also share. For me, that's a big thing about photography, is sharing. A lot of people, if you look at online forums, you look at your social media, Facebook, Twitter and those, very big on the photography, but it becomes a competition. Yours has to be better than mine, the whole thing. It becomes nasty almost, to the point where you can't upload an image that you thought was fantastic without getting someone telling you, oh no, the horizon is skew, you should have cropped this, whatever the case is. Obviously there gets to a point where, yeah, you should start looking at those things, but it should be about the photos, it should be about you. For me, wildlife photography is about telling stories. It's capturing moments. I mean, if you've been on a safari, you'll know what it's about. There's some amazing things happening out there. And just scrolling through some of the images you'll find on Photo Africa, on Facebook, a lot of the other photographers out there, awesome stuff. Really, really amazing things. So, yeah, where do we go from here? This video blog, hopefully, initially weekly, is, as you can hopefully see, it's going to be unscripted. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk. I'm going to take you through what's happened in the last week, some images, ideas. What I also thought would be great is I get a lot of emails, people asking, oh, I see you've got the D7000, what do you think? Tips and tricks, what can you tell us? So this is an easier way for you to join me for a cup of coffee, yeah, and then we can talk through it. You can email me your questions, ideas, and hopefully I'll be able to help you out from there. As with anything, it's not always, one thing is not always right. There's different approaches. I mean, just Photoshop itself, if you look at ways to sharpen your image in Photoshop, you ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers. So mine is just one of them. Hopefully I can add some value to your photography, wildlife and otherwise. And then, yeah, let's go for a ride and see where it ends. I'm very excited about this. It's a whole new thing for Photo Africa. It's come a long way. If this is your first time and you've happened upon this video on YouTube or Facebook and you're not sure what, where and how, who's this guy? Very short history is, I started photography, probably about 9-10 years ago, purely as a way to remember places and people. Traveling around the world, worked on the Queen Mary 2 for some time, so remember the places you go to. Met a very good Australian mate, Glenn Nelson, who we started taking pictures, comparing, try this, that. Anyway, it escalated one by one and it kept on going. I bought my first DSLR Nikon, we'll get to that, Nikon Canon, later. We'll get to that, and I bought my first Nikon in Gibraltar. I think it was old D70, of all places, Gibraltar, yeah. And, yeah, one thing to the next, did a couple of workshops, did a couple of courses here and there. It kept going, and I started Photo Africa, the website, purely as a way to share my images with family and friends, never intending to do much about it. Just nice to have people look at your images. That's what it's about, after all. And anyway, so now a couple of years later, Photo Africa's evolved quite a bit. We're offering workshops, photographic safaris, equipment rental. We'll get to all of those later. And also there's a stock site where you can upload your work to and either just show it to people. That's what it's about. We're going to say that a lot. And also, yeah, maybe sell some on the side. Who knows? We'll take it from there. So, yeah, this video blog is just to do a little bit of all of those. Tips, tricks, equipment, and so on. When I came up with the idea of doing this, the idea was, right, we'll sit down and we'll talk wildlife photography. On one of my recent workshops, Wildlife Photography 101, Andrew Beck, who presents with me on the workshops, and I discussed quite a bit, and probably the best way for you as a photographer to learn is not necessarily to go and sit, read from a book, or run through all the millions of lines of text you will find out there. I mean, tutorials are plenty on the net. You just go type any tutorial in and you'll find a lot. So the idea is speaking to people. It's easier for you sometimes if I grab a camera and I show you the functions. I show you push this button, that's what we do. So hopefully we'll get to some of those, and if you have questions, send them through. We'll see how that goes. Also, I feel very strongly about the fact that it is not only the equipment that matters. I mean, the Nikon and Canon debate is, it gets quite ridiculous at times, let's be honest. I suppose it's the same. Are you PC, are you Mac, are you Coke, are you Pepsi? Hey, it's all your choice. At the end of the day, for me, it is about you and what you do with your equipment. Right. For example, I mean, just a couple of the pieces on the table here. That's a Canon 1D Mark IV with the new 70-200 lens. Absolutely fantastic wildlife combination. Right next to it, we have got a Nikon D3S, phenomenal as well, low light ability, fantastic, with a wide angle, 14-24. So if we pick up on the whole debate, if we were to, and we say, right, which of these is going to take the better picture, we can do that. Put them down, turn them both on, and wait for them to take pictures. You see, it doesn't work like that. It's about what you do with the equipment, and that's what I'm going to try and help you with, hopefully. And also, yeah, just share some of my work, share some of my images. Some of the other things we're going to try and talk through is, if you also look on Photo Africa, I've started a new thing called the Photo Recipes, where I take what I feel is quite unique and different wildlife images, and I give you a breakdown. We look at the ingredients, what you need. You need, for example, a couple of lines and a waterhole, nice light, a medium telephoto lens with the body, and then we run through the recipe of how you can get those images. Things to look for, things to try, so that when you head out on your next safari or your photographic safari, we will look at how you can get that. Photo recipes. Also on the website you'll see, what do I call them? Oh, quick picks. Yes, a quick pick is basically me just putting a picture out there, and I give you the technical information underneath. It was taken with a Nikon and a Canon. This is the lens. That was the shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. All with the idea not only of sharing images, but also sharing the approach and how we get to the final product. In the past, I used to update Photo Africa, the blog, on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. It does become a lot though. So with this video blog, which is going to run every Monday, I'll be posting this on the site every Monday, you can then check in. We'll chat through a couple of things. We'll look at some comments, questions if you do have. Try and answer. We'll share some ideas, tips, and then, yeah, move on from there. Throughout the week, I can then focus not so much on typing, and you don't have to go and spend all your time reading afterwards. You can then just look at the images and hopefully learn from that. What I also want to do with this blog, and that's in the whole feeling of community and sharing of the photographic and wildlife photography specifically, is to share interesting websites, local photographers that I admire and that inspire me. Also books, Canon and Nikon, Sony, whichever equipment we have. If there's new reviews, new products, if I can get my hand on it, I will give it a test run and try and give you a review, not from a technical point of view where you've got graphs and a chart with blocks and grids and you got to try and take what does that mean for my real life shooting. I'm going to try and give you the real life situations from my experience. When we travel around, I'm going to be traveling quite a bit the next while, photographing a couple of lodges. We've got upcoming workshops in the Cape Town where I'm going to shoot great white sharks. Hopefully I'll be able to shoot some clips there, or I'll run the blog straight from there and post these things. So yeah, it might be interesting for you to see different places and techniques and stuff like this. For today, when I sat down and I thought about, okay, book review, let me start with a book or something that I have for me, bought for me personally. None of these things, guys, are sponsored, given to me, tell me this looks nice, none of that. This is purely me, my opinion, what I think is great, nice, works well, and hopefully you'll be able to steal some parts of that. The first one I grabbed was, I met this guy in the Kalahari Transfrontier Park up north, north in South Africa, where Botswana, Namibia, South Africa come together. Seen his work online, absolutely admire the fact that he shoots raw wildlife. There's no funny business of removing a zebra, adding a cloud, clone the fly away from the lion's nose. This is the real thing. His name is Hannes Lochner. Spoke to him a couple of times on the phone, met him very briefly when I was up there in January, and subsequently I bought 2 of his books just after seeing them at some of the curio stores up in the park. The second one, this is his newest book, called Colors of the Kalahari. Nice lion image with a zoom on the front. This is, as far as this year for me at least, coffee table books, which I have an absolute passion for, this is one of the most natural wildlife books I've seen for a while. Again, there's some amazing work. If you look at your Nick Brunt, you look at Heinrich van den Berg, who do fantastic black and white work. Borders a bit more on the fine art side of things, which nothing wrong with it, and yeah, I love it, absolutely great, is we need to look at the real wildlife things. You can shoot what you see. If you've read the blog for a while, you'll hear that a couple of times as well. So the book Colors of the Kalahari is definitely one. Just going to rough page, hope this works, you can have a look through. There's no funny business here. It's straight up wildlife photography as Hannes saw this. Beautiful images of everything from birds, general antelope, landscapes, fantastic steppe buzzard flying there, jackal, lions. It is an absolutely phenomenal piece of wildlife coffee table book. I will, at the end of each blog, like with this, the link to Hannes' site and where you can get hold of these things should you choose to will be at the bottom. So have a look at it. There are some more images on his blog. I think he also posts daily to his site, so it is worth a look. That's called Colors of the Kalahari by Hannes Lochner. Definitely something to check out. Other than that, yeah, I think that's about it for our weekly chat number 1. Let me know what you think. This is a new thing. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to add a whole new dimension to the community of people who follow Photo Africa, and hopefully we'll grow with this. Oh yeah, interviews also. I've got a couple of people who work close to me in Madikwe, where I'm based right now. Also, when I start traveling around, any photographers, any interesting people I get to meet, whether it's a rep from one of the camera brands, whether it's a lodge manager, anybody that's going to add value to you guys at the end of the day, I'm going to put on camera and hopefully do a little interview. Again, off the cuff. There's no preconceived text ideas. I'm going to sit down, talk about things I've either seen in the week, ideas I have in photography, bounce it off our guests, and see what we come up with. So, yeah, that's it for week 1. Give me a shout. Drop me an email, text, Facebook, Twitter. Let's join up, meet up, and see where it goes from here. We'll see you next time.